I'd like to see education have been returned to the states so that they are being those creative and innovative laboratories that it was always intended to be.
That's Education Secretary Linda McMahon on what her goal is for education and what she wants to see when it's returned back to the states. For more on this, I'm joined by Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
So a Democrat in Congress doesn't think President Trump gets it when it comes to education. Let's play her, and I'll get you to react.
And it's also pretty clear from my perspective and what I see about what they're doing and what they're saying is that I don't think Donald Trump or Elon Musk have ever set foot in a public school. They don't understand public schools, and they don't understand the role of the Department of Education either.
You're the superintendent of the great state of Oklahoma. Do you question the administration's approach to education reform?
Absolutely not. And, you know, that liberal point of view, they're out of step with America and America values. President Trump has laid out the best vision for education our country has ever seen. The founders wanted education not only in states, but more closely connected to families. And what President Trump is doing is getting bureaucracy out of the way, getting the federal government out of the way in a way that our founders never intended it to be, which is heavily involved in your kids' classrooms. Now you're going to see more school choice. You're going to see innovative measures like what we've done here in Oklahoma through merit pay, signing bonuses, outcome-driven education where you see a focus on academics, not woke indoctrination. I think this is a historic day where the country turns a corner because of President Trump's move here to abolish the Department of Education.
Parents get a little nervous when you talk about doing something completely new when their kids are in schools. So here's a simple question I get all the time. Do we need a Department of Education?
No. The short answer is no. Look, before we had a federal Department of Education, let's talk about this. We had the greatest country in the history of the world. We had the most innovative minds. Look at all the things that were produced here in America. And since we created a federal Department of Education in the 1970s under President Jimmy Carter, I want to remind your audience, that was the teachers union #1 ask, was to have a federal Department of Education so they could use that apparatus to push their left-wing agenda onto our schools. Every academic outcome has gotten worse. Every societal statistic has gotten worse. You look at teenage suicide, you look at teenage drug use. Every statistic has gotten worse since we created a federal Department of Education. The reality is this power should be in the states, as President Trump says, and states should do like we do here in Oklahoma, give that power back to families through school choice, innovate through merit pay for teachers. Let's really think about how we drive outcomes in this country so this country can be on the right path yet again.
From the Fox poll, closing the Department of Education is not popular with Democrats. It is very popular with Republicans. But you see the overall number there, 65 against, 32 in favor. Does that require people like you to reassure parents that things will actually work better with local control?
Absolutely. Listen, red states need to be out in front on this. President Trump is taking all of the arrows to do the right thing, what most parents want, what the public, as they begin to understand more and more about what did the feds bring us? They brought us DEI. They brought us CRT. They brought us transgenderism being forced into your kid's math classroom, being forced into your kid's kindergarten classroom. What states need to do is say, listen, you give us more power. We're going to get back to the basics. We're going to focus on math, reading, science. And by the way, we're going to make sure that our kids are patriots. We want to see patriotic Americans, education back to American values, back to common sense, and never again are we going to allow the federal government to say, teach kids to hate this country. That is an existential threat to this country if that is where we continue to be. Without the federal Department of Education, you're going to see education power return to the states. Families, you're going to see an education system that works more for you, and every state should embrace President Trump's agenda here. And parents, you have a lot to be excited about with this vision from President Trump.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.